Trojan Sports Now.
Hello and welcome to Trojan Sports Now. I'm Amy Austin.
And I'm Clay Yeager. Stick around as we bring you the latest news and scores from Troy Athletics.
Despite a strong showing throughout their game with conference foe Arkansas State, the women's basketball team fell just short to the Red Wolves. Clay Yeager has the details.
The women's basketball team came into the Trojan Arena with high hopes of rebounding after a loss against UALR. The Trojans played Arkansas State and led most of the way, but fell 82-76.
We're disappointed to not get the win tonight in Trojan Arena. That would have put us in second place. But I think they fought a little harder than us tonight, which is not anything I can normally say.
In the first half, the Trojans managed a comfortable lead, and midway through the second half, the Red Wolves were just 7 points away from taking the lead away. Arkansas State's Hannah Kadan led the Red Wolves in three-pointers, as well as leading her team to the win.
Their shooters really didn't get hot till the second half, so that was the difference. Their shooters started making shots. Number two hit some beautiful shots. I think that's got to be one of her almost her season high. She's a great shooter, and she shot great tonight. So we were in a rhythm of being in a zone for a long time. When we went to the man, we had some holes there that we would have probably fixed if we would have went to the man sooner. So it was working for a while, but when they got hot, then it was us that was off on the defensive end.
Even though the Trojans lost one of the games they were looking forward to winning, head coach Chanda Rigby says she doesn't want her team to dwell on the loss.
Right now it's about managing emotions. We wanted to win really bad. These last two games, you know, the end of this stretch of a lot of games we were reeling off, those were our toughest two games in conference, and we really got up for them. We really wanted to win them, and we didn't. So sometimes success is going from failure to failure without too much disappointment. That's what we're managing right now.
The loss puts the Trojans at number 3 in the Sun Belt Conference, and Rigby says her team is still focused on a Sun Belt title.
You know, by no means are we out of this. We're still in the hunt for a championship. We learned some hard lessons when we played the number 1 team, UALR. They were better than us the other night, but by no means are we out. And that's still what we're playing for, is a Sun Belt championship.
Clay Yeager, Troy, Trojan Sports Now.
After taking on the number 1 and number 2 teams in the conference, the women's basketball team returned home to host the ULM Warhawks in order to get back into the win column. The Trojans are back in the win column after a huge victory over ULM. The women's basketball team defeated the Warhawks 90-51.
It was truly a great win in Trojan Arena tonight against a very good Monroe team that we almost fell to at their place. The difference in tonight's game was the players' intensity and the amount of pressure they applied to them. Monroe actually had a lot of advantages over us when we played there. Their post player was very good against us, and us being without our starting post player, Bree Lancaster, we knew we had to do something different. So our objective was to try not to let them get it down on their end of the court.
The Trojans forced 39 turnovers throughout the game. 27 of those turnovers were in the first half, and head coach Chanda Rigby said that was the game plan for her team.
We forced quite a few turnovers, 39, and that's a lot for this team, and I'm proud of the team. It was a good game plan, and it was executed very well by the team.
After the run of 5 games in 10 days, the break was welcomed by the team, and Rigby said that was what gave her players an extra boost of energy.
I don't know if they felt it, but I felt like a different person tonight. I felt so good walking in that locker room because it seemed like night after night after night last week we just kept being so tired and having to make ourselves get up. And tonight it was just natural. We had a pep in our step.
And Rigby said the only thing her team needed to improve on was rebounding. ULM out-rebounded the Trojans 48-45.
The only negative I can say really is that they did out-rebound us by a little. That shouldn't happen, but there weren't many rebounds to get on our end, but they did out-rebound us.
The Trojans had a school record of 23 steals, and Troy is now 7-3 in conference play.
The men's basketball team had similar troubles like the women. The second half led the Trojans into a hole that they couldn't get out of. Colin Cahill gives us a look.
The Troy men's basketball team took on the Arkansas State Red Wolves this past Saturday in Trojan Arena, looking to snap a 2-game losing streak and Sun Belt Conference play. But after 2 tough halves of basketball, the Trojans fell to the Red Wolves by a final score of 64-55.
I thought the first half we came out and obviously we struggled offensively. We struggled to make shots, but yet we kept fighting and had great energy. Kevin Thomas was terrific on the offensive boards, and we somehow got a 5-point lead going into halftime, which is very encouraging.
Coming off 5 games in 10 days, fatigue seemed to set in for the Troy men's basketball team in the second half. The Trojans struggled to shoot the ball and were also out-rebounded by the Arkansas State Red Wolves.
We don't, we never talk about it, and we don't ever want to talk about it to the team from an excuse standpoint. But I think it definitely did tonight. I know how I feel, and I hadn't played a minute.
Wesley Pearson and Kevin Thomas both led the Trojans in scoring. While Thomas did lead the team on the floor, it is his off-the-floor leadership that is most important for a team during this tough stretch of games.
I try to encourage whenever I can. I might bring people aside, talk a little one-on-one. I try to bring it in practice every day, lead by example as well. But at the end of the day, I know that what would help us to win is just we stay together as a team and we keep fighting. We have each other's back.
The Trojans get a 5-day break but will return to action on Thursday when they take on the ULM Warhawks at home, a game that will be featured on ESPN3. Colin Cahill, Trojan Sports Now.
The men's basketball team could not clinch their 3-game losing streak as they fell to ULM 55-58. In the second half, Troy and ULM went back and forth in the final minutes of the game. The Trojans led 50-47 with 3 minutes and 17 seconds left to play. However, the Warhawks' Mac Foster responded with 1 minute and 18 seconds left in the game, leading the game into overtime. ULM scored 6 straight points to open up overtime and was too much for the Trojans. Musa Abdul-Alim led the Trojans with 17 points and 11 of them coming from the first half. Kevin Thomas scored 10 points on the night, while Wesley Pearson scored 11 points. Head coach Phil Cunningham says he was frustrated with the loss.
After Saturday, I didn't think we could get a tougher loss, but we trumped it tonight. To have that big lead in the second half again, and to let them come back, and then even in overtime to be down 6 and not give up and tie it up and have a chance to win it, it's just very frustrating, very frustrating. But tonight, I thought the difference in the game is we put ourselves in a position to win once again. I just didn't think we were tough enough to finish it. I mean, when you get the ball point blank as many times as we did, and give them credit, they've got great size in their length, and they contested all of those shots. But when you get it point blank, you've got to go finish it, and that's the difference in the game.
The Trojans will look to rebound after their loss this weekend when they take on UT Arlington.
Alexis Cobb earned second place in both a long jump and triple jump to lead the women's track and field team in the Green and Gold Invitational in Birmingham on Saturday. The Trojans finished 8th as a team. Cobbs went 5.51 meters in the long jump for a personal record, while her 11.65 meter triple jump was a season best. The Trojans are in the Middle Tennessee Invitational in Murfreesboro, Tennessee on February 7th.
The men's tennis team opened up Sunbelt Conference play over the weekend and finished strong. The team had 4-0 victory over UT Arlington. Hassan Indishame won in straight sets at number 2 for the Trojans. Giovanni Samaha finished in the number 5 spot, and Pablo Marino won in singles matches at number 6. For the double matches, Troy won in both the number 1 and 3 flights. Marino and Samaha defeated UTA 7-5 in the first flight, while Diaz and Baldo won 6-4 in the 3 flight. The Trojans will take the court again Saturday when the team travels to Georgia State for another conference matchup.
The women's tennis team headed to Orlando, Florida for the second match of the season. The Trojans fell 4-3 on the road at UCF. While Troy won in the singles flight at number 2 and number 4, UCF claimed victories throughout the rest of that flight. In doubles, Anya Kosovic and Train Hume won the first flight of the doubles 6-1. Sine Oda and Brooke Durden also won the number 3 doubles flight with a score of 7-5. The Trojans are now 0-2 on the season with both losses as tight sets of 4 and 3.
Still to come on Trojan Sports Now, we'll have a preview of the women's basketball team's upcoming conference matchup with UT Arlington.
But first, I had the chance to sit down with women's basketball player Courtney Coleman. Stick around for more Trojan Sports Now.